I just think today, parents, again, is that we have to be bold and confident in what we're doing. We have to be clear on what we're trying to accomplish. And you need to make sure that when it comes to any age group of your kids, it doesn't matter 15 down to 5, down to 2 to 1, is that you're in charge. Hello, everyone. We are Greg and Jacquie Francis, and welcome to High Performance Parenting, where our passionate goal is to encourage you to raise champion children in a crazy world. Every week, we will bring you multiple episodes from our extensive experience of raising our six happy, healthy, successful, godly kids who are confidently equipped to win big in life.
We deeply believe that any parent who is provided with the right knowledge and continual support can raise amazing kids. And when they do, all of our futures get better. If raising up future generations of absolute champions matters to you as much as it does to us, here's how you can contribute. Like and share this podcast with everyone you know. And together, let's embrace this journey of raising champion kids in a crazy world. Okay, here we go. We're on the topic, really, the main topic is replenishing you as a parent and what works best for you. But we were just going through schedules of when our kids were younger, right? And I love it. You know, you mentioned it's like you get up at 7:30. You don't get to get up before that. You gave great tips of how they can entertain themselves. I think there's so many parents that they, I don't know if it's a guilt thing, or they feel like they're neglecting their kid, that like their kid comes around, they feel that they need something. It's hard to say no, but one of the best things you'll ever do that we have done really well is teaching our kids how to entertain themselves, and that whatever the big urgent thing is that they want at that time can wait until the time that they're supposed to get up or the time after the nap or whatever. And as you were starting to say, you know, when we implemented this, it's true, especially like smaller babies, right? You put them down at a certain time for a nap, and at first they might cry their heads off, right? They want to be held, whatever. But if you will just be willing as a parent to sit in the other room and not go address the fit that's happening because they want to be held or whatever, then they will literally learn within a matter of days how to entertain themselves when they're in that nap time, especially if you do it consistently at the same time every day. Would you agree?
I totally agree. I think consistency is the key to all of it. The expectation needs to be there, and the standard to keep it going. Mm-hmm. And even like I think about our kids in general, you know, if you didn't, you know, have some sort of schedule for them, I mean, they're going to run the house. They're going to decide what we're doing all the time. They're going to decide. I mean, kids would love to eat, you know, candy bars for lunch every day.
That's right.
You know, they would love to go to bed at midnight.
That's right.
You know, they would love to sleep in when they want to and wake up when they want to.
Yeah.
They, you know,
but it's not even an evil intention. It's just that they're immature.
And they don't know. And that's our responsibility as parents to train up our children so that when they leave the home someday, they can confidently go and do what they need to do to change the world, you know? And I just see so many times this time where moms and dads feel this need to cater so much to their kids that they lose what it looks like to be a parent. Your children, they can read you and they can play you like nobody I know.
It's a fact that either you train your kids or your kids train you.
Correct.
There's no in between.
No.
Like that is a fact. And I'm sorry if that stings a little bit for some of you parents who have been very trained by your kids, you know, where you run to their every beck and call and you think that they're fussy kids and they just need you so much. Like, you got to evaluate this, you know, like, is it really the right thing that should be happening? And if it shouldn't be, why? Is it because maybe you as a parent draw too much of your identity by being needed by a small one? You know, is there something going on there? Is it just that you just don't know? You know, is it a guilt thing that you got to learn how to overcome? Like, to us, we always just took the posture that we're going to love our kids so much that we're going to learn how to do this right, you know? And,
right.
And so then you have to go through the emotional part of it, but it's because of the bigger picture.
Yeah, I think that's the key. And I think too, you know, because so many people have grown up with something they don't want to do from their parents, that they don't take even some of the good things their parents maybe did. And I feel like sometimes maybe our parents and stuff like that, some of the things they did do was allow us to, you know, play by ourselves because they had things they had to get done. You know what I mean? Some of the things that maybe our parents taught us was like the importance of making sure that you do honor and respect your authority and the people that are older than you. Like our parents, that's what you did. Like you didn't get away with being disrespectful. Like in either one of our households, that was not tolerated.
And the other big thing was there wasn't screen time back then.
There was no screen time for sure, and less like comparison. I mean, parents really there was no social media or anything. Right. So it's not like they were trying to be these.
You're getting swayed constantly.
Correct.
To try to fit into what you see on media.
Right.
Stop.
And if you're not doing it, then you're the parent that's off track.
Without filtering it through a brain cell sometimes about what is right and wrong.
So I think that, as parents today, I look back and even now, you have to be okay with the fact that if you really want to do things that are healthy and sustainable and going to allow your family to walk out all that God has in store for you, you're going to have to be different than the norm.
And you will. Just if there's something that we get persecuted by quite a bit, it's how we parent.
It is, and it's so strange to me because then when you see our children, you see like our 5-year-old all the way up to our 15-year-olds, you see our track record.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
You see the fruit.
And so here you see these 15-year-olds, and they're the first people that are like, oh, well, your kids babysit for us. Oh, well, your kids come work and do this for us. Hey, well, your kids are the most honoring, the most respectful, the most caring, the most but then if they see us just with our 5-year-old, they're like, you guys are pretty strict. You're pretty strict. If they don't see our 15-year-olds around us, you know what I mean?
And just to encourage some of you out there that as you start implementing these kind of things, you will have to go against the grain. You will not fit in with the masses of most people because the sad reality is most people are going to be too lazy to be this intentional. Let's just call it what it is, and they'll justify it 8,000 different
Everyone
ways.
Does.
They're too busy. They work this. I wasn't trained right. It's all this stuff. But the reality is, I just want to call it out like you're just being lazy because you're putting. I heard somebody say one of the greatest gifts of having children is it teaches you to stop being so darn selfish. Mm-hmm. But some people really hang on to the selfishness, meaning that they kind of almost resent all the work that it takes to actually really do all the things that we're describing. But I would tell you, like for those of you that are putting it together and are working on it and are growing in it and are willing to do it, the minute that you have other parents or people out there in general start persecuting a little bit or challenging you or saying you're too strict or you are too protective or you guys really, really revolve your, a lot of areas of your life around this area of parenting and whatever the persecution comes in, you don't let your kids have phones until a certain age. You don't, how will they adjust? You homeschool? Oh man, how are they going to be socially engaged? Like all these things. We've just learned a philosophy that we actually see it as a compliment now, because if the average person doesn't think you're crazy, then that's bad, because then that means you're just like them.
Well, it's super interesting that you brought up the phone thing, social media and all that kind of stuff. Whole nother topic, but I was talking with my friend today, and one of the things that they do if they need to is they take away the phone from their child, right? And I don't know how many times we've done that. Taking away a phone, taking away screen time, taking away whatever it may be. And I was like, that's awesome. I said, I've had people question me, how can I do that? Like your child allows you just to take away their phone. And her and I both looked at each other and we were like, it's our phone. Like it's not my kid's phone. It's our phone. And having a phone is a privilege in our house. And if you don't do the right thing in our home, the standards, and live by them, that phone's gone. Like you don't get a say. What I pay for that. That's my phone, And some parents are so scared their kid's going to hate them or not like them or be mad at them or their kid won't have a friend.
My friends have phones and you're so mean to me, the kids will say.
Or my kid won't have a friend if I take away that phone. Oh, that's their only friends and that's the only way they communicate. I am really sorry. Then be honoring at home and there will be no problems. Be trustworthy at home and there'll be no problems. But if you don't abide by what our standards are, those phones are mine, And I just think today, parents, again, is that we have to be bold and confident in what we're doing. We have to be clear on what we're trying to accomplish. Yeah, we need to be straightforward.
Parent before a friend.
And you need to make sure that when it comes to any age group of your kids, it doesn't matter 15 down to 5, down to 2 to 1, is that you're in charge. Remember, you're not trying to please your child. You get to steward these children because God blessed you with them.
That's right.
So do it well and do it at the highest level, because if not, there will come opportunities that you no longer will get to speak into them.
So good.
It is so important for us to do it so well right now that as they grow up and move out of our house into what they are called to do and who they're supposed to be with for here on earth, like for us to do such a good job that they want to come back and learn from us still. I don't want our kids to want to grow up and go find other places for resources.
That's right.
I want to do such a good job that they want to come back, and as they are young adults with their own families and parents themselves, that they say, hey, mom and dad, how do you think we could handle this? What do you think about this situation? How would you walk through this in today's world? I don't want them going and searching elsewhere for that. Yeah. And that takes us being consistent every day.
Yeah, so good. And for those of you that maybe are going to step into this, where doing everything Jackie just had described, where you have to choose to not just love your kids where they're at, but love them so much that you don't let them just stay where they're at. In other words, you're equipping them to be better. You're training them through life lessons. It's more important than their fanfare of you. But the reality is that the season we're in, and we've been doing this for almost 16 years now, that as much as we have had to have those standards and those tough lines that we draw, etc., our kids are so appreciative. They, if anything, they tell us all the time how loved they feel.
They do.
For all the ways that we have invested in them. Because now they look around and, they're serving in whatever, kids for church, or they're babysitting other kids, and they're seeing other kids act certain ways and do different things, and they see what happens. And they're just like, thank you guys for never letting us do that stuff. Like, thank you for teaching us how to not be like that. They're really, they're maturing enough to really kind of get it.
Well, it's interesting you said that, because I remember when they would be young, and even Hunter's age, if she sees kids misbehaving, throwing fits and doing stuff that are not how we behave, she'll tell me, Mom, that child needs to be corrected. That kid needs to be corrected, Mom. And it's her way of saying that parent needs to love them enough to not allow them to do that.
That's right.
That's what she's telling me, because she feels loved when we correct her.
That's right.
Because she knows she wants to live up to the standards of what God has for her. And if we don't do it right, then who will? Yeah. Are we expecting other people to do that for us? We can't do that in today's world.
No. And so let's wrap. We got a couple minutes left here, but what are some other just simple ideas on a day-to-day basis that parents can do to replenish themselves a little bit more? We kind of mentioned maybe you have an hour of morning time where your kid isn't pulling on you, and you hold to that. I know for me, being able to get out at like lunchtime and go play some basketball or do a workout, I get replenished through some exercise. It clears my mind. It's like I start a new day afterwards, but being able to, you and I be on the same page and coordinate schedules to be able to actually accommodate that. We've also done it wrong, where I've done too much of it, and it ended up creating problems for like within our house, because I was gone too much trying to chase like sports and stuff. So we had to meter that back,
I think too, for women, probably very much so, is having healthy friend group to get with, you know? And when I say healthy, I mean somebody that helps you be a good version of yourself, not somebody that's maybe negative or gossipy or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm saying, like, when you walk away after being with that person, you feel like you can go conquer more. An encouraging friend is what we need. So I think a lot of women need that.
And it does, and if you had like a day to go for a walk for a couple hours, even once a week, that would replenish you a ton, with a healthy friend like you're talking about.
Yeah, I would
right?
think like...
it doesn't have to be, I have to go with a friend every day, or I have to be on the phone all day. We're all busy people. But even if you just planned it like that, because
it's so important to plan that stuff, because if we don't plan it, you don't do it.
100%.
So we really, like, to replenish yourself, it sounds funny, but you have to plan to replenish yourself.
And I know that one of our limiting beliefs at one point was kind of like, okay, but where do you find people like this? It seems like people are either gossipy or they're complaining, and that doesn't replenish me at all.
Right.
But the reality is there's other people sitting around that have your same values that are like, where do I find these people?
Right.
And all you got to do is just start trying. Get clear about who you think of as a healthy friend, and then start seeking it. Now that your brain is like clued into it, you'll find it. And
be one of those people for others.
That's right.
I have found, if you are looking for a friendship group, be the first friend to do it.
Yeah.
And I think another thing to replenish yourself is make sure that you're taking care of yourself, even like eating healthy and, you know, taking time for yourself, even the simple things. Sometimes as moms and stuff like that, we can get so caught up doing something for everybody else that we don't even make sure we have a meal for ourselves, or we don't make sure that we're, you know, getting dressed up just for ourselves, or we're not going to work out just for, we over plan so much for our kids that we don't plan enough for ourselves. One less play date for your kid, but one good self-care day for you might be exactly what makes your household better.
Wow, it's powerful.
Yeah,
it's really good. Yeah, I mean, you and I just talked about this recently. Like you know, if one of the things I like to do is, you know, when the kids were younger, I remember we would spend more time during the day with the kids because they were just little and they'd go to bed early, and I would do a lot of work at night. You know, now it's kind of flipped. Now we do most of our work during the day because they have school and they have sports and all these other responsibilities, and then we kind of hang out together at night. You know, and I enjoy that time. I know you do too. But also, we just brought up recently about how one thing that replenishes you is when you and I just get dressed up and go on a dinner date. It doesn't have to be an overnight thing. It doesn't have to be a big ordeal.
No.
But we just go. And so we'd kind of let that go. And we're like, oh, okay. Well, now let's start planning. Let's put that on a calendar. And again, it has to do with, you know, I know anytime you and I ever do that, we leave that feeling more connected. We leave it feeling less stressed out. It really is a replenishing thing for us. And so it doesn't have to be anything crazy fancy. You don't have to spend a ton of money, but we just need that connect time to kind of disconnect from the rest of the world for a couple hours. And again, so, you know, we're done with this topic, but I'll just challenge y'all. Maybe as a couple, you guys make a short list of some things that would help you replenish. And when I say replenish, that means it might be different than what your friends do. Some things replenish people differently. I have some friends, they would love to spend like 72 hours straight with other people. To me, that sounds awful. Like, I'm too introverted. That would exhaust me, you know, et cetera. I also don't want to be alone all the time. So there's like balances of this. You know, some people like to run marathons. To me, that sounds horrible. But I love to work out at a pace that makes sense to clear my mind. So make a list of these things, and then start finding ways that you can help each other as a couple. Get your family in order so that you guys can replenish yourselves. Because now when you guys are replenished, you're going to be healthier, happier, and whole. And now you can serve all the people that you need to serve in your life with a different level of joy and also competency. Right? So good stuff.
Good.
Sure do love you.
Love you.
Hey everyone, thanks for listening and thanks for your love and support. We hope that today's episode added tremendous value to you and your family. It would mean so much to us if you would partner with us on our mission of helping parents around the globe raise champion children in this crazy world.
To do so, simply take a moment to like and share this podcast with everyone in your network. See you next time.